What's going on? Zach Crawford here, and in this video we're going to talk about how to build an online business while you have a full-time job. Now, over the years, I've heard this question asked over and over again, and some people are even debating, should they just quit their job, should they risk it, should they go all in and just focus on building their online business? So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to share with you a few tips that I think are not only going to be helpful for you, but it's going to actually give you some perspective of how to go about doing this the least stressful way, and also how to actually build it so it's sustainable and actually can give you that lifestyle and freedom that you want. And just so you know, I haven't had an actual real job in 7 years. I've been a full-time entrepreneur, so I believe that I can actually share some helpful tips with you, and I can actually help you save some time and frustration from the mistakes I made. So I'm also going to share some of the tips with you that I would go back and do completely different if I was starting all over again. Okay, so tip number one is do not quit your job. You know, I see so many people out there saying just quit your job, burn your boats, go all in and risk everything in order for entrepreneurship. And as much as I love being an entrepreneur, this is horrible advice for most people. And the reason being is it's going to create lots of stress, you're going to drain your savings account, and you possibly could even put yourself in debt in order to keep yourself afloat. Oftentimes people will hear my story about how I literally just burned my boats, quit my job, and went to the Philippines with just $12,000 to my name and become a millionaire. But if you've watched my documentary on my channel, you'll see that I did my best in order to show you that this wasn't just some fairy tale where it was a magic story and I just learned a secret overnight. There was lots of ups and downs in order to get to where I'm at today. Now, the bad thing about me sharing my documentary on my channel is that some people have actually seen that video and they took the message completely wrong. They looked at it and said, hey, Zach did this, so can I. And I remember years ago, there was one guy who specifically quit his job, like literally only had $3,000 in his bank account, got a one-way ticket to the Philippines and went over there, and then all of a sudden he reached out to me and said, Zach, I need your help. And by help, I meant that he wanted me to loan him money because he got himself in a bad financial spot. See, the real problem is when you look at somebody's success story, you don't see the full picture. And you know, it's probably my fault that I didn't actually share enough in my videos and my content that when I actually quit my full-time job, working 60 to 80 hours a week at the post office, I replaced that when I went to the Philippines by doing freelance work for other business owners as well as building my outsourcing business so I had money to pay for my bills and in order to invest in my online business. If you quit your job, what actually makes you think you're going to be able to figure it out if you couldn't figure it out with your full-time job? You know, for most people, they're not. They're going to actually burn through their savings and they're going to put themselves in a very stressful situation. If you're someone with more responsibilities, let's say you have lots of bills, a mortgage, a car payment, you have a family to worry about, you're not only going to put yourself in a rough spot, but this is a very risky move because you're going to put your family in a very risky spot, and this is going to cause a lot of stress in your relationships. In my opinion, you should not be thinking about quitting your job until you have a reliable, predictable, and consistent income coming in. And if you're going to ask my opinion and say, hey, Zach, when should I actually quit my job and go full-time? My opinion, my suggestion would be do not quit your job until you at least match your income from your day job. Ideally, the smarter move would be you double your income from your online business. So let's just say you make $4,000 per month from your day job. You do not want to be quitting until you make at least $4,000 to $5,000 per month from your online business. Now, here's the reason I say you want to double your income. What a lot of people do not consider is they think that once they match their actual income at their day job, they're set, but they're not considering that a business has expenses. Business needs money to pump back into it in order to grow. So you don't just need that money in order to be able to live off of, pay your bills and things like that. You also need a cushion so that way you can actually reinvest into your business, pay those ongoing expenses, and keep growing the business. Which brings me to my next tip, which is smash that subscribe button. Now, in all seriousness, if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet and you actually get value from this video, make sure to subscribe below. Okay, so tip number two is to manage your money. So if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to learn to balance and manage your money very well. You know, most people have a foolish idea about business that you're just going to make a ton of money and you're going to be able to live life very easy, but that is the farthest thing from the truth. I learned this lesson the hard way because I didn't know anybody that made the type of money that I did. You know, most people that are at a job, they actually make money and then what they do is they find a way to spend that money. But as a business owner, you have to be very savvy with your finances. It's much easier to start practicing this skill right now of managing your finances because you have a job that brings in a steady paycheck you can count on. You know, I want to touch on this really quick. I get people who literally come to me all the time and they say, Zach, I hate my job, I want to quit. But I want you to realize right now, your job is a blessing because you have a steady paycheck that you can count on. If you hate your job, I can totally sympathize with you. Look, I was passionate about hating my job. I literally pretty much lived at the post office working 7 days a week, and a lot of times I was working 60 to 80 hours a week. On top of that, during the holidays, a lot of times I would even sleep there overnight. But here's the thing. I was not gifted with the opportunity to leave my own terms. I wasn't somebody who was able to put in my 2 weeks and just quit when I wanted to. I was literally forced out of my job. Otherwise, I would have stayed there as long as possible so that way I could invest every single dime I had back into my business to grow it 10 times faster. When I started my entrepreneur journey, I was roughly $50,000 in debt from a drunk driver hitting me. So what happened was the creditor stepped in and was actually going to garnish my wages. So I had two choices. Either one, do the choice which I told you not to do earlier, which is risk everything, gamble it, and hope entrepreneurship worked out. Option number two is basically to sit in my job, be miserable, work 60, 80 hours a week, while they sat back and took pretty much every dollar that I made. So what I ended up doing was selling everything I owned, bought a one-way ticket to the Philippines, and I ended up gambling it. But this is not what I suggest most people do. You know, what I can tell you is this was one of the most stressful times in my life, and I'm willing to bet that most people would have tanked under the pressure. So to go back to what I said earlier, your job is a blessing. You have a paycheck coming in, you have consistent, reliable, and predictable income. When you start entrepreneurship, it's not like a job. You're not going to work 8 hours and get 8 hours of pay. What's going to happen is you're going to do a lot of work in the beginning to get that business off the ground, and you're not going to get paid for it. And this is the very reason I suggest that you stay at your job until you at least double your income, because the longer you can stay at your job to build that business, to pump that money back into your business, the easier it's going to be on you. A business is going to require you to invest in both yourself and the business. You're going to need to invest in things like courses and training courses and books and mentors in order to learn what to do correctly. You're going to need to invest in tools in order to automate part of the business, or tools that are necessary to run your business. At some point, you're also going to be wanting to get something like a virtual assistant, because there's a lot of things in your business you shouldn't be doing. You're going to want to outsource yourself out of that business so you can focus on the higher leverage tasks that will drive the business forward. Having a stable income from your job is going to make the process much more enjoyable. You're not going to have to cut corners. You're not going to have to make money fast. You're not going to have to be desperate in order to get a sale just to be able to survive, to pay your bills. So look, if you're somebody right now who doesn't have a job, you have no source of income, no way to pay the bills, the first step is to get a job. I know you probably don't want to hear this, but it's absolutely necessary. If you are trying to build a business with no source of income and you're desperate just to make money, you are operating with a severe disadvantage. You're in the wrong mindset to be building a business, and people that actually have income coming in and investing into their business are going to be able to crush you. A business is going to take lots of time, energy, money, and your commitment. And here's the thing. If you think you're going to be able to find some kind of shortcut, some kind of secret path in the next 30 days you're going to make lots of cash, I'm here to tell you it's never going to happen. You know, having a job is going to make this process so much more enjoyable, so that way you can actually invest in the business and operate from a calm state of mind. Now let's just say you're the type of person that actually has a job, but you're living paycheck to paycheck. What this means is that you're going to have to cut back some expenses and actually budget your money much better. You know, look, I know nobody likes to hear this. I hated hearing it myself when I was actually in debt. But if you're living paycheck to paycheck, it's the very reason you need to budget your money better. You need to start actually cutting back on things, maybe like Starbucks, cutting back on the cable bill, cutting back on maybe going out with friends and spending money on unnecessary things that you don't need, so that way you can actually have money to relocate and actually invest into your business. You have to ask yourself right now, how important is it to you to actually be successful? How much of a priority is it for you to actually create time and financial freedom? If it is a real priority to you, if it is important, you'll make whatever sacrifices you need to make. And just so you know, I'm not preaching to you here. I literally did every single thing I'm suggesting to you here. I literally cut out everything I didn't need when I was in debt and trying to get out of debt and build a successful business. I stopped going out on the weekends with my friends to get drunk. I stopped, buying pizza and going out to fast food all the time. I sold my PlayStation, sold my car, and literally everything I didn't need to invest into my business. Once I went to the Philippines, I did the same thing. I literally lived bare minimum. I didn't buy clothes. I didn't go to the beach. I didn't take vacations. I took every spare dollar I had and reinvested it back into my business. Now, did it suck? Yes, it sucked major balls, to be quite honest, but I would do it all over again if I had to start and do this same process. Now, on the flip side, by making all those sacrifices I just talked about, because I said I would do it all over again, I can now live in a nice house. I now have a nice car. I can literally travel wherever I want to go without worrying about can I afford it. I literally have $50,000 of camera and computer equipment in this office that I dreamed of having years ago, and the best part is I can do what I want when I want and not have to have somebody tell me what to do. Now look, I'm not telling you this to brag. I'm not telling you this to say, hey, look at me and look how cool I am, because I honestly don't think I'm that cool. What I'm doing is trying to make you realize that success has a price. So if you're somebody like I was, where you have very little resources, very little money, and all you really have is your time, what you're going to have to do is make sacrifices in one area and become very, very resourceful to make what little you have work for you. So to summarize what we just talked about here, you do not want to quit your job until you have stable income coming in from your online business consistently. Trust me, you do not want to quit too soon, because if you do, your life is going to be filled with lots of stress and anxiety. You know, if I wasn't forced out of my job, I would have stayed in my job, so that way I had a calm state, I was operating from the right mindset, I had money to pay the bills, and I could reinvest the rest into my business to grow it faster. In the early stages of entrepreneurship, it's very rocky and it can be very, very stressful and unpredictable. So the last thing I want to touch on here is make sure you save up 6 to 12 months of a rainy day fund. Don't just quit because your income matches. Start stacking that cash and building that rainy day fund, because as I said, entrepreneurship can be unpredictable. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, and this way if you have a rough patch, you have 6 to 12 months, so you're not stressing out. You're not having to figure out how you're going to scrape up some money really quick and make bad decisions. Entrepreneurship can be very, very unpredictable in the early days, and you want to prepare for this. Okay, so tip number 3 is to manage your time. So this is one of the most important lessons when you actually have a full-time job, is to learn to manage your time. And it's also going to be extremely important when you actually go full-time as an entrepreneur. Here's my thing. I think that if you can't learn to manage your time while you actually have a job, you're going to have a horrible time actually learning once you actually go full-time with your business. When you have a full-time job, you actually have somebody to hold you accountable. You have somebody to look over your shoulder to make sure you're getting the work done. If you don't do it, you're going to get fired. The difference is when you're an entrepreneur, you have to self-discipline yourself, and you have to be ruthless with your time. This sometimes means cutting out things you like to do, things like spending time with your family, spending time with your friends, watching TV, pursuing some of your hobbies, and things that actually consume your time. What you have to realize is time is your most valuable asset, and you have a limited amount of time in your lifetime, so you have to make it count. When I first started my business, I had to sit my family down and let them know this is extremely important to me, and it's going to require me to be a lot less present for a while. I also had to let my friends know that, hey, I can't go out on the weekends and I can't go out and have fun, and a lot of them just didn't understand, and a lot of them even chose to actually make fun of me behind my back. What I can tell you right now is you're not actually missing out on anything. You think you're making sacrifices and you think you're giving things up, but what you're really doing is you're setting yourself up for your future to have all the fun that you want. And a lot of my friends, the people that actually made fun of me, the people that didn't understand me, the people that thought I was crazy and went over to the Philippines and I was going to come back crying, asking for my job back, a lot of these same people right now are living very miserable lives. They've been divorced, they're not happy, they're in jobs that they don't feel fulfilled, and a lot of them even told me that they admire me because I made much smarter decisions than they did. Some of my friends even made comments that I got lucky, but the reality is I actually chose to think about the long-term payoffs over focusing on living in the moment. Most people are constantly focused on having fun and being happy all the time and constantly chasing instant gratification, but because of the fact that they fail to think about their future and how those choices are going to impact their future, they end up miserable in the long term. To be successful in business, you actually have to love what you do. And I'm not talking about the woo-woo advice about follow your passion and the money will come. What I'm saying is you do actually have to find passion and purpose in the work that you're doing. Even when I was working the job that I hated years ago, I took pride in doing my best work. I took pride in showing up early and doing more work than everybody else and holding myself to a higher standard. When you have a full-time job, you're going to have to be extremely disciplined and use your time wisely. People constantly ask me, Zach, how many hours do I need to actually invest in my business and work on my business while I have a job? And my answer is it depends. It depends on how many sacrifices are you willing to make and how fast do you actually want to make things happen. For me personally, when I was working a full-time job, every single spare hour I had when I wasn't working, I was working on my business. When I switched over to the freelance work, I did the same thing. Anytime I wasn't doing work on client sites, I was working on my own business. Succeeding in business was and still is one of the biggest priorities in my life. Even to this day, I spend most of my time working on my business. Personally, I get fulfillment and enjoyment constantly working on my craft and getting better. A lot of people get into online business and actually creating passive income, and their whole goal is to work less and make a lot of money and have to do nothing so they can focus on having fun all the time. But the problem is this is really backwards thinking. You're going to spend most of your adult life working a job, and what's going to happen is it's going to be the same exact thing when you become a full-time entrepreneur. So if you focus all your time on chasing fun and going and traveling the world and just doing all these hobbies that you want to do, whatever levels of success you create is going to dwindle away very, very fast. To create a successful business, it takes care, attention, commitment, and in order to grow and keep that income coming in, it's going to take the same level of commitment that got you there. So the sooner you learn to love the process, love learning, and actually love working on your business, the easier this is going to be on you. My suggestion is to take a good look at your current life, your schedule, and your commitments, and then schedule dedicated time to actually work on your business. For you personally, this may mean you only work a couple hours each night after work, maybe a couple days on the weekend. Everybody's schedule is going to be completely different, but the important part here is that you actually schedule time to work on your business. Now here's the thing. What you need to do when you're actually working on your business is schedule, focus, time. What I mean by that, shut out all distractions like social media. Don't be surfing different websites while you're actually working. Get away from family. Lock yourself in that room so you can focus on your business. You know, I've seen people literally with just a couple hours a day make way more money, get way more done than people that literally have 20 to 30 hours a week to dedicate to their business. But the difference is they're actually focused over being busy and distracted like most people. You have to be completely ruthless with your time. And what I mean here is that you can't be consuming other people's content. You can't be constantly following everybody who's making money. You can't constantly keep getting distracted and expect that you're going to get any progress done and be able to leave that job. When I'm working on my business, I don't care what somebody says they make. I don't care what they're doing over here. I don't care what new business model's launching. I do not let anybody distract me from what I'm doing. I focus only on getting work done in my business. This is how somebody who works less can actually get way more done because they're not busy and distracted. If you're going to be a full-time entrepreneur, you have to hold yourself to a higher standard than everybody else. You also have to hold yourself accountable just like a boss would at your job. And this all starts with learning to manage your time and actually create a disciplined schedule to work on your business. You know, a lot of people think that once they quit their job, they're going to be able to be successful, but I actually completely disagree. If you fail to actually manage your time right now while you have a job, what's going to happen is once you quit, what you're going to do is you're going to find things to consume your time. You're going to binge on your favorite Netflix series. You're going to find other hobbies or other things you would rather be doing than actually working and being productive. And the reason I know this is because I did exactly the same thing once I quit my job. Okay, so tip number 4 is to manage your physical and mental health. Now, I know this is probably not what you expected me to talk about when it comes to building an online business, but it's extremely important. You know, the big problem here is that most people are using most of their mental and sometimes even physical energy during the day at their job. So what happens is you come home and you don't have much energy to dedicate towards that business. You know, if you're not eating right, you're not exercising, what's going to happen is you're going to end up feeling groggy and tired all the time. You know, up until about 25, I was in amazing shape. I worked out all the time. I had a six-pack. I ate right. And then when I started in entrepreneurship, I went in as a full-time entrepreneur, my health went down really, really fast. And the reason being is I told myself, you know what, I'm busy, I'm tired, I don't have time to work out. And because of this, I found myself about 50 pounds overweight, and then I was constantly tired, and it was even starting to affect the business. If you're working a full-time job and you're building your business in the after hours, you really need to be considering what food you're putting in your body. If you're eating lots of sugary treats, pre-processed foods, sodas, candies, and a lot of the things that most people eat, you're going to be groggy and tired most of the time. And what you got to consider here is that building an online business is going to take a lot of creative thinking, a lot of mental energy in order to accomplish the tasks that you need to get done. If you're eating lots of crappy food, you're eating all this processed food, how do you think you're actually going to be able to build your business and have the energy that you need to maintain that while you're working the full-time job? It's going to be tough. Now, you also want to be considering some form of exercise every single day. Now, this doesn't mean you got to go to the gym like what I do, but you can do some form of exercise. You have time. Don't tell yourself you don't have the time. Literally, just by going on a walk, something as simple as a 30 to 60 minute walk every single day is going to give you massive improvements in your life, not just the physical side of things. What I can tell you is if I have frustration, struggle, something I'm facing that's just really stopping me in my business, by going out on a walk, I get my best ideas on how to solve that problem. Sometimes I've got my best ideas for business just on a walk, by getting those endorphins kicking in and letting my thoughts flow naturally. So by taking the time, the 30 to 60 minutes to do that walk daily, it's going to give you more energy, more clarity, more focus, and it's actually going to make you a lot more productive, especially when you're at a full-time job. Now, the last tip I have for you here is controlling your mental health. This is something that a lot of people don't talk about because nobody wants you to know the whole side of everything, right? But entrepreneurship comes with a lot of stress, a lot of obstacles, a lot of struggles that you have to overcome. And if you're not constantly working on your mental health daily, what I can tell you is it can create lots of anxiety, lots of stress, and even worse, you can end up in a massive depression if you don't actually control this. When you're working a full-time job and you're actually building the business in the after hours, you have a lot on your plate. You have a lot of obstacles that you're facing. What I can tell you is your mind is going to work against you daily. I always call this going to war with yourself. You have to prepare to go to war with yourself because every single day you're going to tell yourself things like, I'm not good enough. I don't have results. When am I going to get results? Is this ever going to work? Who am I to think that I'm smart enough to actually accomplish this like these other millionaires? You're going to have all these negative thoughts constantly wearing against you, trying to wear you down and get you to quit. So what I suggest is you take time every single day to work on your personal development. Listen to audios, podcasts, read a book daily, anything that's going to inspire you to actually keep working on your business and not give up. Now, what you got to realize is this is something that you have to do daily. You have to prepare yourself every single day to go to war with yourself. You know, a lot of people think that it's going to be their husband or their wife that's going to stop them. It's going to be their boss or their friends that doubt them, or it's going to be the business opportunity they're pursuing, but it's not. The only person that's going to stop you from being successful is yourself. You have to prepare to go to war with yourself every single day so you can win. You know, what a lot of people do is they use emotions. Every decision they react to is based on emotions. If they get hit with an obstacle, if they get hit with somebody saying something bad about them, they emotionally react. But that's not how entrepreneurs work. Entrepreneurs use logic. They ask themselves, how can I solve this problem? Who can I get to help me solve this problem? What do I need to do in order to overcome this problem? What do I need to learn to overcome this problem? The only way you're going to get those mindsets to succeed in business, the only way you're going to be able to fight through those obstacles, the only way you're going to be able to keep going when you don't feel like you want to keep going is to train your brain to be mentally tough. And that means you have to do it every single day. Just like if you went to the gym and you ate healthy so that way you could have the six-pack, you have to train your brain to be successful. Business is not for the weak, and this is what you have to realize right now. Business is going to test you. It's going to literally test you every single day. There's going to be so many times you want to quit, so many times you want to throw in the towel, and there's going to even be times that you want to cry. I can tell you right now, there's been many a times in my room that I literally had tears in my eyes asking, why do I keep facing these obstacles? And what I can tell you is if you don't work on your mind, if you don't make yourself mentally tough, you're going to cave under pressure. But if you focus on constantly training your brain every single day, just like a muscle, right? You break it down and you rebuild it. You break it down and rebuild it. And if you keep with this process, what you're going to find is things that you thought would actually break you down like last year, today, it doesn't even get on your radar. It's laughable. You're going to get stronger as time goes. You're going to be able to handle those obstacles better. You're going to be able to use logic instead of emotion. And what's going to happen is you're going to become a stronger version of yourself. In my opinion, business is 90% mental, 10% how-tos. So what you need to do starting today is literally work on your mental game just as much as you work on the how-to game to actually get the results that you want. Okay, so tip number 5 is very simple. It's be consistent until you get the result. You know, I literally see so many people get started with any business online, not just affiliate marketing like what I teach on this channel, but they get started in a business and if they don't get results in just 30 days, they quit. Which completely blows my mind because people will go to college, spend 4 years of their life, put themselves in massive amounts of debt, have to climb the corporate ladder and take years and years and years just to pay back that debt to be in a profit. But yet when they start a business, they quit after just 30 days. This is where the whole concept of the short-term versus long-term thinking comes into play we talked about earlier. If you want to actually build a successful online business, you have to sacrifice short-term pleasure and instant gratification for a better future. I see so many people literally get started in business, and what they do is they follow everybody. They can't focus on anything. They see somebody say something is going to be simple, it's going to get them rich quick, they're going to be able to avoid obstacles, and what they're really trying to do is avoid doing the work. And what they do is they convince themselves they're going to find a business model that has no obstacles, has no pain, has no frustrations, doesn't require them to learn any skills in order to make the business successful. And what I can tell you is there's not a single business model out there. It doesn't matter if it's affiliate marketing, Amazon FBA, Shopify, creating your own products, being a coach and consultant. Every single business model has a learning curve, it has time commitment, it has financial commitment, and it requires you to learn a set of skills to make that business model successful. The reason only a small percentage of people succeed, like the 1%, a lot of people say only 1% succeed and it's not fair, but the reason only 1% succeed is because they understand the concept of the grass is greener. The grass is not greener where people tell you it's greener. It's greener where you choose to water it. So to sum things up, what you need to do is pick your business model, focus and go all in on that business. Commit to just getting 1% better daily and learning the skills, and then delete your plan B and stick with it until you get the result. Successful people and unsuccessful people are vastly different. Successful people understand that no business or business opportunity is perfect. There's literally a million different opportunities to make $1 million online, but you have to pick your opportunity. You have to pick the way you're going to make $1 million and stick with it until you get the result you want. What unsuccessful people do is they consume endlessly. They can't control their habits. What they do is they follow everyone, they consume everything, and they're constantly getting ready to get ready. They cannot stop themselves from distracting and confusing themselves. I'm going to leave you with this last thought. You will only get confused when you allow yourself to get confused. If you choose to consume on purpose and only choose to learn things that you plan to implement and take massive action on, it's impossible to fail. The only people that actually will fail in business are the people that allow themselves to get distracted or quit. So with knowing that, all you have to do is make the conscious decision to stay focused. And that's it. It's that simple. With that being said, I hope you got value from this video. And here's the thing. If you actually like this video, comment below and let me know your thoughts. And then also, if you have any video topics you'd like me to cover in the future, throw that down there as well and I'll note that down. The final thing is, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure to do that right now. And I'll see you in the next video.